This week has been awesome because I have been testing out two-seat Toyotas that both technically have 4 seats. This one doesn't have a Toyota badge, this one doesn't have a Toyota engine, but they do represent the least and most expensive sports cars that Toyota will sell you right now. Representing the affordable option, we have the Toyota GR86. Now, this yellow one right here is the Yuzu edition, which is not so budget, and it gets you fancy yellow color, some sporty bits, and a body kit. Although, since there's only 30 of these being made, chances are you have no option but buying a more affordable one. At the other end of the spectrum, we have the most expensive sports car that Toyota makes, the Lexus LC500 convertible. Just looking at this thing, you can tell it costs a pretty penny, from the forged metallic wheels, to the power soft top, to the beige on brown color option that only a very wealthy, very old couple would choose. With these two cars, we can answer the question that nobody asked, but you're now very curious about. What does an extra $100,302 get you in a sports car? Well, the first big difference is under the hood, because this LC500 has one of the best sounding engines in existence. Allow me to demonstrate. Oh my God, does that ever sound good? Propelling this posh missile is a 5-liter naturally aspirated V8 that is incredibly good sounding. And it doesn't just sound incredible, but it makes peak power at 7,100 RPM, which is just 200 RPM before redline, meaning that this thing, as you go through the rev range, just keeps on pulling and pulling and pulling! To satisfy the nerds, this engine is specifically the 2UR-GSE, and it has everything that we have come to expect from a high-performance Toyota engine. It has a dual-length intake that leads into Yamaha-designed high-flow heads, and also we have an intake tube right here that goes through the firewall, so you get plenty of engine noise. As the air comes in through here, it's joined by some fuel at lower RPMs from the ports, so that your titanium valves don't get any carbon buildup on them. Inside of the engine, that air is joined up by the direct injected fuel that is then squeezed 12.3 to 1 times, where it moves the forged pistons and the forged rods and then the forged crankshaft, which sends a bunch of power to the back, where the limited slip torsion differential puts that power to the ground. The thing that's hilarious though is that even though the LC500 is the much faster car, it doesn't feel much faster, because this thing right here is so much fun. Sure, we only have 228 horsepower, but that is propelling something, that is only 2,800 pounds, and that weight is down very nice and low, because this 2.4 liter 4-cylinder is a flat 4-cylinder. All of that weight is lower than most supercars, and that turns into some handling that is absolutely exceptional. We have a corner right here, coming up, coming down. Can I heel toe this? I haven't really tried yet. Not really. But holy frig! The tail likes to get happy sometimes, but in a way that's fun and enjoyable and not just straight up scary. Like, this thing's a joy. I really was not expecting to say this, but I think this might handle better than an ND Miata, and like, it does make sense. The center of gravity is lower, the chassis is more stiff because we have a roof, the suspension also is way stiffer, but like, the ND is just so freaking good, and for this to be better, like, man, I am impressed. And it has this way about it where it's incredibly fun at speeds that are legal or pretty close to it, whereas many like German cars or the LC500, like, sure, they're incredibly fast and competent, but unless you're on a track, you can't enjoy it. That enjoyment is only increased by the fact that this thing has 3 pedals. We have an excellent light little clutch. You can get used to it really nice and fast. The gear shifts, oh, they are so very good. And it has pretty close ratios, so you can get in at least a couple of shifts before you're, you know, up to highway speeds. I absolutely love this thing, and I'm so glad that Subaru and Toyota have continued to keep the manuals alive. That said, the manualness is not perfect. It has a bit of a problem with rev hang, which is where the throttle body doesn't close immediately with your foot. Now, it isn't the worst that I have seen for sure, but that said, it is there, and I've also had troubles where maybe you're, especially in first gear, you're going fast and then you get off the throttle and it doesn't immediately close. This is because for emissions, manufacturers will have the throttle body not close as fast as you take your foot off of the throttle, because if you close it really fast, then your engine will run rich for a second, you have a bunch more hydrocarbons, not good for the environment. You can somewhat solve this by getting off of the throttle a tiny bit before you do your shifts. Like, my muscle memory has pretty much solved it already, but that said, if you want to properly solve this problem, you need a tune and you need to void your warranty, which we fully endorse here at Zip Tie Tuning. Now, with a 0 to 60 of 6.1 seconds, I wouldn't call this thing fast at all, but it does have really great throttle response. Like, I'm off, on, and it just bangs you into the seat in a way that the LC500 just cannot. Because of course that isn't the point of the LC500. This is a posh Grand Tourer, not a real sports car. The suspension is soft and comfortable in Sport Plus mode, and it's wafty and luxurious in comfort mode. Of course, with nearly 4,500 pounds of weight, this thing was never going to be as tight and nippy as the GR86, but that doesn't mean that the handling isn't a good bit of fun. Even around bumpy corners, this thing doesn't get very out of control, and it is very, very planted and handles awesome in general, unless the transmission decides to screw you up, because, man, I don't like the transmission in this thing. The low point of the LC500 for me is the 10-speed direct shift transmission. The first time that I got into this thing, I had a great big thud as it went into gear and was reminded of the frankly kind of terrible transmission that we experienced in the Tundra that we had a little while ago, and turns out, yeah, this right here is the same piece of crap Aisin AWR10L65, and it's not very good in my opinion. This is the same transmission as the Sequoia, the Tundra, and the Land Cruiser, and at times it is fantastic. Like, oh, did it! Ah, you piece of shit. It does this thing where even when you're in manual mode, it automatically shifts up from first gear to second, and I am constantly doing this thing where, you know, I also shift at the same time, so we go from first to third, and then all of your fun is ruined. It's really, really annoying. Now, at times, it's really fast and really great when you're getting on it. We'll see if I can do it here. Yeah, like that is sick. And there's other times where it's comfortable and very, very nice, but you just never know what you're going to get out of it, because sometimes it'll be really, really slow and really, really jerky, and overall, I just wish that it had a manual transmission. Shocking, I know. But Lexus put a whole bunch of time and effort into making a V6 hybrid version of this, only to sell 18 of them in 2024 before discontinuing it. So if they're going to put a bunch of engineering resources into something that's gonna sell very low volumes, I wish it was the manual transmission, because at least the people that bought it would love and cherish it till their end of days. We love our boxes here, but know all too well that they can sometimes let us down without warning. But not with today's sponsor, Wolfbox. Their Megavolt 24 Air has got your back. Dead battery? No problem. With its 4,000 amp current, your car's battery could be brought back to life 40 times, just like how we saved Andy's Miata, my RAV4, or you can save that idiot on BC ferries that always has a dead battery. Got a tire pressure warning on your dash? The built-in air compressor lets you top up your tires with the touch of the start button. Works on everything from small cars to big trucks to just a little tiny bike. Tough, you might call it. The Megavolt also acts as a 65-watt fast charging power bank, charging rapidly, very nice, and it has a 400 lumen emergency light. With an IP64 rating and all kinds of built-in protection, you have peace of mind and your car won't be stranded in tough situations. Wolfbox also just released a windshield sunshade to keep your car cool in the summer months. So don't wait, check out the Wolfbox Megavolt 24 Air at our link down below, and huge thanks to them for sponsoring today's video. There is one good thing though that came from the complete and absolute failure of the LC500H. See, the hybrid version has a rear differential with a much shorter final drive ratio, but it is entirely mechanically compatible with this right here. On top of that, because they're torsion differentials, you don't have to worry about clutch packs and electronics and all of that stuff getting mad. Nope, you just take this one out, put the new one in, and there's not really any downsides. You get more speed and more torque perceptively through the entire rev range, and because the gears are so dang long in this thing, you don't even lose it on any top speed. Like, this thing hits its 270 km/h top speed in 7th. If you can't find an LC500H differential, the RCF one is also compatible, but sadly, that's about all you can do for useful performance mods on this thing. Like, sure, companies will sell you an intake or headers or an exhaust, but there's no proper tuning support for this ECU. As far as I can tell, no one has cracked it, so the amount of power that you can get out of this thing is rather limited, which is quite a sin. I would have loved to see some proper, really stiff valve springs in this thing, take her to 85 RPM. Could you imagine the sound? I would rebuild this engine every 2 years to do that. Every 1 year. The same cannot be said for the 8.6, which has some of the strongest aftermarket support in existence. Do you want to put a K20 in this? People make a kit. Turbos, there's a kit. Superchargers, there's a kit. LSs, there's a kit. Hell, people have put the engine from the LC500 into this thing, and it was magical. No matter your goals or your budget, there is someone that will sell you 8.6 parts to make this thing exactly how you want it. For me personally, the first mods I'd do would be a gas pedal spacer to make heel towing a little bit easier, and also some sound deadening around the speakers, because they need some help. In the 8.6, we have an 8-speaker premium sound system that doesn't sound incredible. There are many software things that they have done to try and claw back some audio quality, but none of that matters when it's just the poor door speakers are just rattling everything so bad. The exhaust drone is not helping in the slightest. The vocals, they do have this like fancy vocal moving thing. It doesn't really work, and I'm surprised, given they have mids and tweeters up top, how just dreadful this thing sounds. The good news is, if you add sound deadening, I think that you could claw back a lot of audio quality with minimal weight gain, but as it is, dreadful. Toyota, seriously, you need to improve your sound systems. Compared to other brands, you are behind. Subaru as well. Another thing I really like about the 8.6 is that it hasn't given into pressure to add an electronic handbrake, and instead you get a proper handle down here, but we're, responsible, and I'm not going to just pull it on the road right now. As for the sound system in the LC500, we have the Mark Levinson stereo, which has 13 speakers, 915 watts of power, and it sounds, pretty all right. The staging is very good, with the vocals locked in the center of the dash and an excellent sounding center speaker, but I am a little bit disappointed because it doesn't sound quite as good as some of the other Mark Levinson sound systems I've heard, and it gets absolutely destroyed by the Burmester sound systems that are in the Mercedes convertibles. Also, the sound system on my Golf GTI frigging dominates this, which is pretty funny to see given it's a $150,000 car, but it does rock pretty darn good. You can't really complain.
I'm just afraid that you walk away.
Besides the sound system, there's a couple more things I can complain about in here. Half of the climate controls are easy to access, but the rest are buried in the infotainment, which itself is a bit of a reach to get to. The rear seats are absolutely useless unless your best friend is Lieutenant Dan. Like, even kids cannot fit back there. And the most tragic thing, the windows don't automatically go up like they do in a Mercedes when the soft top operates. Unbelievable, I know. Complaining about these things, though, completely misses the point of the LC500. In here, we have some of the best seats I have ever sat in, even if they don't have massage functionality. The interior is completely covered in leather and just feels exceptional. As the Germans have been trying to cram as much screen into the interior as possible, this feels much more restrained and much more special. Like, this right here, I think in 50 years is still going to feel great, whereas a Mercedes S-Class or EQS will be laughable. Also, have I mentioned the engine sounds yet? Have I? I don't know. I don't know if I have. We should probably mention that a couple more times. The GR86 is much more practical. Like, there is enough space for a kid back here or some adults that you don't really like. Apparently Andy fit 7 people into his when he owned one.
Yep, that's
We
for
don't
sure.
recommend that.
Don't.
There is a decent amount of space in the trunk, especially if you fold the rear seats down. The front seats are really comfortable. I love the driving position, and basically everything in here feels really good, with my only complaint being the very squeaky center console. I guess my other complaints are that there's no USB Type-C, no wireless Android Auto, but we do get proper climate controls that are much easier to use than the Lexus LC, and we even get proper adaptive cruise control in a manual. Love to see it. How is the serviceability on these two cars though? Well, on the GR86, an oil change could not be easier. The filter right there, fill port just beside it, and if you have an oil extractor, you can just stuff it down the dipstick and you don't even need to jack up your car. If you don't have an oil extractor or want to make sure you're doing a full flush, the drain plug's right in here under that little access patch. Wow, and it's a metal plug too. Small bonus under here is that the jacking point is nice and far forward, so you don't have to be reaching your jack in super far. For the engine air filter, it's just simply 2 clips and you are in. As for the cabin air filter, just open up the glove box, push on the 2 sides, and maybe before you push on the 2 sides, undo this little clip over here. Subaru has screwed up Toyota's perfect streak. That took me like 10 seconds. And the cabin air filter's right there. For the LC500, you do need to jack up the car to change the oil. But from there, it's just 2 bolts to remove this little plate that says oil on it, and the drain plug is right there. As for the oil filter, remove 4 bolts to remove this plate that also says filter right on it, and the oil filter is right there. To replace the engine air filter of an LC500 is a tiny bit more difficult. We have to remove this panel right here, and I was originally a bit concerned about these plastic clips, but look at this. You just push in on it, and now you can remove it. That's so freaking easy. Why are all clips not like this? Boop, 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 wow. Look, now you just push it back through, and you have your standard clip. Push it in there, it's locked. Push it all the way, unlocked. You know, f***ing incredible Toyota. Now we can get this cover off here. And it's just simply 2 clips like that, and oh, there's the filter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sick. Then you need to do it one more time for the other side, taking the total time for the job from 1 minute to 2. As for the cabin air filter, you open up the glove box here. There's a little plastic piece on the top that you just push down on, 3 clips undo, and right in there is our cabin air filter. That cabin air filter alone would make me buy one of these over that stupid f***ing CLE. So the LC500 and the GR86, I think these are both fantastic cars, and I have had a great time putting them through their paces this week. This limited edition Yuzu edition comes in at $47,000 Canadian, which is a lot to pay for one of these cars. Like, sure, the body kit and the yellow makes every single kid in a 2-mile radius come over and be like, what's that? Oh my God, it's so cool, quad tips. Oh, it's a Toyota? But if you don't get this fancy edition, it's more than $10,000 less. And if there's anything that you really want on here, the aftermarket will support you. As for the LC500 at $147,000 Canadian, this thing is both obscenely expensive and kind of a steal when you compare it to BMW and Porsche. Like, sure, this thing isn't as fast as the Germans, but when an EV can destroy everyone off the line anyway, the absolute speed starts to matter less, and the experience itself starts to matter a lot more. And holy heck, is this thing ever a good experience? Andy, can we floor it for the outro?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So huge thanks for watching. Hit like, you piece of transmission. Hit like, get subscribed, and of course, have a great old day. Have I mentioned that this thing sounds fantastic yet?